Hello everyone, it's Karen here, Hair Shaman, Pure Beauty 24/7. My new company is Hair Intelligence. I just wanted to speak to you guys regarding, we had a conversation on Facebook the other day about people shaving their head and it being some kind of like an active movement. And we had a couple of comments, so I just wanted to clarify some things about people that shave their head regarding strength and intuition and all this kind of thing, and my opinion on why the monks do it. I've interviewed a couple of monks before about this, and you know, monks rarely think about this kind of stuff because their life is very simple and they are focused on the simplicity of life, everyday peace, joy, and meditation. So I already kind of knew this was the reason because I was tuned in to I'm tuned in very much when it comes to hair and when it comes to why people do the things they do with their hair. And I knew that it was for simplicity, simply that. So we had this talk. It was very, very wonderful. We spoke for about an hour on many subjects, but I asked him his reasoning for, shaving his head, and he said, very simple, very simple. That's what he said, and I said, yeah, I thought so. And I asked him, did he feel any difference from having his hair and without his hair? And one of them said they didn't notice anything because they weren't really as present with life during the time that they had their hair, so they sort of made a transition in enlightenment during that time, and then they shaved their heads, so they couldn't recall. The other one said that he could feel a difference in as far as simplicity in the energy. So I understand this very well because hair is like an antenna. So what happens is that it's sort of a receptor. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we're more spiritualized at all. A lot of people are misinterpreting that. What it means is that our hair is like an antenna. So for me, and everyone is different. I'm actually a channel, an empath, and all these things where I get a lot of energy. I could be bald and get a lot of energy. But with my hair, it's even more of a receptor because you've got like your antennas are long. So you've got all this hair, and hair is like you have a strand like this, and it's like a Christmas tree, and you have your cuticles that come up. Well, that's sort of something that actually takes in energy. It can actually expand it out as well, but normally it's taking the energy in. So it feeds that into our psyche, into our spiritual body. And if my hair is back, I have a little less of that. I don't feel as much. And a lot of times I do put my hair in a braid. That way it's protected, it's also simplified, and I don't really want to be as receptive. So when they talk about the Indians, another great story, how they shaved their heads and then they were less tuned in when they went out to war, that makes a lot of sense because with their hair, they had more receptibility. They had a little advantage on receptibility. Now, this doesn't mean that when you shave your head, you don't have the ability to be receptive. But it does make a difference when you have hair in that. That's why the Indians reacted as they did. But you also have to, so there's a lot of information out there, there's a lot said, and I'm actually going to bring my honest truth in. And my honest truth is we have to also keep in mind that they went from having long hair to having it being shaved. That was for them a very dramatic and probably traumatic difference. So obviously their energy shifted when that's happening, and they're used to having their hair as receptors. So over time, they probably could build back up to being more receptive, but really this just shows us that hair has the ability to be a receptor, as in being like an antenna. It does not make a difference if your hair is bald or if you have hair. As far as your spiritual awareness, that I really believe that we are so limitless in our beingness that, you know, we have energy bodies, we have higher selves. I mean, we have a lot of connection to the higher heavens, angelic realm, consciousness, God, whatever you want to call that, energy, universe. We have that. We'll always have that, whether we're bald or not. So I just wanted to clarify that. It doesn't mean if you have long hair that you are more spiritual or you have more receptibility. You might, but it is not a given. It is not something that you have absolutely 100%. Because if you have somebody that's more conscious, more in tune with themselves, and they're bald, and they go out in a crowd, they're going to be more receptive than if you have someone with long hair that goes out in a crowd that's unaware person, that's very chaotic, that's not still and not in tune. So I just wanted to clarify that for everybody. Long hair is great. You know I'm for it. I love long hair. When I had it really, really long, it was really for me another being because I could feel all the energy. I could handle it, but it did make a difference when I went out into a crowd. The crowd and pulling all that in, it really caused a lot of chaos. And actually, my hair was a receptor very strong, and it takes in things. And if you're out in an area where there's confusion, which a lot of that is in crowds, you know, my hair's reacted. My hair's actually came home and I've gotten in like knots because it was just like, oh, it was just reacting. And that actually told me something really good, because that told me that my hair reacts, which means absolutely hair is not dead. Hair is alive. So it does react, and that means we can repair it and things like that. So anyway, that's another video. I just wanted to go over the idea of what it means to have your head shaved versus having hair, the monk's version, the Indian version. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on this video. I'd love to share more information. And yeah, it's really about who we are. And we know for a fact that our hair is receptive as an antenna. And that is it. However we handle that, or however that's utilized with us and we tune into that and are aware of that, we could probably receive more, but it doesn't matter because it's just a matter of our own self. If we really desire to receive more, we will. It's just hair is just a natural antenna, so it's there and you're receptive. But your follicles are also receptive. So it's just a different degree of it. But then again, as I said earlier in the video here, it depends on the person's receptibility. So that's what I want to say about bald head versus lots of hair. Okay, everybody. Namaste.